What's the history of women?
You had the whole suffrage movement. They couldn't
But
vote.
they've always been here.
Yeah, you're right. Well, what are you, African Americans have always been here too. Well, I guess Africa. Never mind. I was digging a hole there. Whatever. Hello, everyone. We're the Continuity Crew. I'm Will.
I'm Texas.
That's when. And today we are talking about the recent Netflix release for an episode of Streaming Junkies, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the 2022 remake, reboot, requel.
It's like in the vein of Scream.
I guess it's sequel. I mean, it's.
Is it a sequel? Yeah,
it's straight from the first one, but they also already did that.
Yeah.
In 2000 something. But Texas Chainsaw Massacre takes 50 years after the first one and our good boy Leatherface has returned and has his chainsaw and shit goes down. We're changing it up. We've done this in a couple past recent videos. We're going to give our ratings before at the beginning of the show. So subscribe though for more reviews like this, all that good stuff. I got to find a way to integrate the subscribe somewhere in our intro, but for now that's where it's going. So as we do, we have two ratings. We have critical and entertainment, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. What are you going to give Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
Critically, this falls between 3 and 4. So I'm just gonna be polite and say 4.
Yeah.
No, 3.
Yeah,
that I don't want to be polite about it. This movie sucked for me. I hate it.
Fair, and I'm surprised you gave it that high, a 3.
Yeah,
I'm surprised you gave that high because it's not great. I will agree. I will agree. And we'll get into it, like, and just explain our ratings. I'm gonna give this a critical rating of a 3 as well. I guess I was gonna try and be different and like give it a 2 or a 4, just to be, but I'll say a 3 as well. Well, again, we'll talk about it. Entertainment value. What do you say? 2. Wow. So that's where our ratings are going to be very different. Yeah. I'm not giving this a 10 or anything, but I will give it. I'm gonna say
fair score.
I'm gonna give it a 6.5 for entertainment value. There were some aspects of it that are very not great entertainment wise. But let's talk about Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Legendary character.
So on the topic of just Leatherface and the character, he's like my least favorite horror. Like he's not. I don't know, something about it's just not scary, and it's not cool. Michael Myers is cool. Scream or Ghostface and like Freddy Krueger, like those are intimidating and scary. This, I'm like, it's just a dude wearing a face. He's got a chainsaw.
This came from like a very different time, you know, where it's like the thing is, like, nowadays we have like cell phones and all that stuff.
Yeah,
and we can find
I do like how they
shit.
Integrated the cell phone stuff into this.
When this came out, what was it like?
I think it was the
70s. Yeah. This would have been very terrifying.
74
and very ultra believable, and I'm pretty sure they're copycats.
I'm pretty sure this was based off of an actual murder. Yeah. So, and in the 70s. It works and it is scary, but I think we're past the time of Leatherface being scary, and I even think we were when we hit in the 2000s with the reboots and stuff. Like I don't know. I think it's something that should have stayed in the 70s and could have been this horror classic. But something about horror movies, they don't do that, which is fine.
I do feel like the people who are like, oh, this is scary because like this and that is very realistic. I feel like those are the same people who say like, I have an old soul because I like to listen to old music.
And you had some of those people in this movie. Oh, look, it's got 3 writers. No wonder it's so shitty. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, it's not your, like, I don't know, group of kids and there's the legend of Leatherface or whatever. It's these, I don't know how to explain them, but very modern people are moving into the town.
It's a bunch of millennials trying to get into a town, and for some fucking reason they think they can afford it and own it. And
so that was such a weird plot point of like, we afforded this, we got this whole town. I'm like, you ran a food truck and you it must have been cheap ass land, and then the lady who was taking care of Leatherface at this orphanage still owned her house, and then they indirectly kill her and Leatherface gets pissed.
The only person that I liked in this movie was probably that one girl that pulled out a gun,
the
got shot.
The like main girl, I guess. Not the cooks.
The other one, the sister one, was the main girl, like the older one.
Yeah, the younger girl, she was cool.
Yeah, the younger girl, she was like every teenager sort of, or every, I guess, or people our age.
Yeah,
and she was somewhat normal for once in a movie, and she wasn't like, oh, we need to get out of here or shit like that. She was like, I'll fight. I don't give a anymore.
Yeah. So I think it in a sense is supposed to be kind of a parody and comedic of bringing these millennials into Leatherface, and it kind of works. But I mean, I rewatched the first and the second one a couple weeks ago to kind of prep for this. Something about it just doesn't work. It's just weird, and I like the originals because it feels like very serial killer, like it could kind of actually happen, and I don't know. So
the people in this movie were just so disconnected from reality. Any sort of reality in this movie is just,
and I think that's the point. But it's just
it's a shitty point.
It's so cringy and bad.
Yeah, I think the only real way for this movie to work is if they actually took some liberties from the older ones, and they actually not remade it, but did something similar and pretended like Leatherface wasn't a real thing.
Or go like A24 with it. Not that artsy in a sense, but like be kind of take some liberties, like you said, and make it more just down to earth. This just feels so absurd, and I think again that's the point, but it still doesn't make it a good movie, and that's why the entertainment's higher.
I don't know, it feels like an insult to the old one almost.
It does. No, I agree 100%. It feels very like just the first one is a horror movie classic. It's actually legitimately scary. Like it feels down to earth, and because actually in the original one, like they had the worst working conditions. Like they were in the heat, and it was a shitty set to be on. So it kind of came out on screen in a good way, in a sense.
Just everything about this movie just feels so studio, and
it does,
and disgusting. It's like it's too polished, even though like they're in this grungy town. That felt like there were fake walls everywhere.
Yeah, like it was definitely a set.
Yeah, and it was like obviously you have to do that, but you don't want to make it feel like that in a movie. You want to make it feel like
a good atmosphere,
this place exists.
Setting,
even like Afterlife, Ghostbusters Afterlife. That didn't feel. That felt like a real town.
That
didn't feel like a studio.
Yeah, so it's not the best production design in that sense. It's very, and it makes it feels very Netflix is what it is. It feels like Netflix does Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and it literally is Netflix. So, I do love all the stupid. I will say. This actually felt like a massacre compared to some of the other movies. Yeah, that's true. I will give it that. And that made it more entertaining. Spoiler, I guess, the scene in the party bus. I was like, this, like, it's absurd and stupid, but I love it because, okay, this is actually a massacre. It's he's going to town and actually kind of scary, and it's violent and gory. And if that, in a bad way, if that's what you have to do, that kind of sucks, but I'm still like, okay, cool, good enough.
I think like in comparison to Scream though, just real quick, Scream was exponentially better.
Oh, for sure.
Because like they didn't even.
It felt like it was having fun with an old property.
Yeah, and they didn't even try to cover anything. They just kind of like, these kids are old looking. Yeah, we're gonna say all this shit about, oh, this is what happens in a movie. But these kids were very serious in like the plot, and they were like, "Oh, I'm a chef. I'm gonna rule the world."
If you're gonna take yourself that seriously, go a little bit over the top and be kind of in a good way cringy, I guess.
Make it worse.
Yeah, essentially. Yeah. Like if you're gonna be this bad of a movie, make it entertaining. And I was entertained, but make it more entertaining. So, anyways, that's our final thoughts for Texas Chainsaw 2022. Anyways, though, that's our review for Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Like I said, I would not recommend this for anyone, but thank y'all for watching. That's been our episode of Streaming Junkies this week. We've been the Continuity Crew. I'm Will.
I'm whatever his name is.
That's Win. Thank y'all for watching. Like if you enjoyed, comment down below, and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this one. We love movies. We love y'all, and we'll see y'all later. Go check out our Streaming Junkies playlist if you want more Netflix reviews.
Yeah, we have a lot of those. We don't usually do HBO Max. Bye bye.